think it's on. Is it on? Hello. Hello there. With the harmonic dulcet tones of the 3D printers. I'm just going to disappear out of frame because I've got a wobbly chair. So allow me to rejig the mat there. And hopefully it'll be nice and supported now. Alright. Straight into it, I suppose. There's not really... I've got stuff to show somewhere. There's stuff. I might have to go out to get it, but that's okay. So, I'm trying not to look at myself too much like that. What happened? Speed controller! No good. Drill speed controller. And it had the little clicky-clack forward-reverse feature. And when you take that out, it breaks contact with the rest of it. And so, that's all in the bin. Oh, bugger it. Who wants to keep that? Oh, there you go. I found a bit of it there. The rest of it, she's kaput. Although, free brushed motor. So, Aussie Matt. There's another one. And I did get a free LED from it. Free LED. That came on the other speed controller. So I used that for something. What happened? We've been away. And there is a video coming out, so I can't say too much about coming away. It's not really a build video. There's a video coming. Oh, for Dave. Thanks, Dave. I have stuff. Stuff's arrived. If anyone was interested, the speed controller came from Hong Kong Chue Trading Company Limited. And it seemed like reasonable quality. It just wasn't, I bought one that would fit because of the height of the button, and it was for a drill, not for a blower. And I probably could have faffed around and made it work, but yeah, didn't happen. All right, stuff. I bought stuff and I was given stuff. Here we go. I was given this. This is, sorry, I'll turn it around. It's difficult for me because I look on here and it's back to front. So I hope you can actually read that and it is the right way around. I've never actually watched things back to look at the orientation of text. So if you can see it in the chat, this is my eyebrow go all weird there. If you can see it in the chat and it actually is the right way, please let me know in the comments or in the chat. So I got this. It's kind of like one of those Ryobi lights. I think Ryobi do a similar thing. Let's get something, a spudger, and I shall spudge it open. This is an Aldi light. I don't know if there's someone from Australia watching. Aldi is kind of new concept in my town, but we didn't actually get these. We didn't get these in our local one, but we've had things from Aldi before. We don't often. Sometimes, especially their tools can be really good, but we don't get them. For a long time there, I was looking for an Aldi bandsaw, and they never came here. So it's USB. It's USB to USB-C, although it's USB-A to USB-C, which just means that it will charge. You can plug it into a USB-C charger, I think, but it won't charge at. Is USB-C 9 volts? It won't charge it. It'll charge at 5 volts. But that's okay. It's got a charge port on it, power charge. Or it can charge with either. So, look. It's got an input and an output on here. It says USB-C in and USB-A. USB-C out, USB. No, what is it? I can't. Well, the sticker's coming off. USB-C input 5 volts 2 amps. USB-A output 5 volts 2 amps. Now I don't know about you, but if you've seen the Ryobi version, that looks very similar to a battery goes click in there. So I don't know whether somebody has been photocopying Ryobi's hard work. It's got a hook. You can hang it on stuff. Is it? Oh God! Okay, it works. It's got multiple settings, and it flips around like that. So I guess I'm not guessing. The idea was that I'd faff around with my car, and so sometimes you can just sort of there's lots of light. I think I might even put that up there and light. Go Badgers. Sorry, and hello if Scott's watching from Maryland. home of, we're talking about Len Bias and Jim Henson. I did Google that. I think, did I Google Jim Henson? Jim Henson's from Maryland. So, but I remember in his book, well, it wasn't his book. It was a book about him. He didn't write it because he's dead. That's usually the way that stops people from writing a book. It's probably going to stop me from writing mine, because that'll be the only time I'll feel like wanting one. Is like, oh, no, I don't want to die yet. I haven't written my book. Sorry, too late. So there's that. That was good. I will definitely find a use for that. I love crap like that. What else was there? I'll put the cord with it. USB cords are always handy. Clear some. Oh, look, what's this? Folding. Oh, maybe it says in here, but you probably don't want me to read you the instructions. To say charging other devices. So yeah, to charge mobile devices, open the charging port cover, connect USB-A cable. So it'll have some. It's not very heavy. It can't have much of but I know LED cobs like that don't weigh a lot. Whatever battery's in here is small. It must be. It's probably like a power bank battery, so it'll be like an 18650 or something, and some boosting circuitry. So I don't know. Maybe it's 1500 milliamp. I don't know. It's certainly. I'm guessing it'd probably charge your phone enough to get to your next stop, wherever that's going to be. But yeah, I don't think it'll be much chop. And it looks. I'm just trying to find something metallic. Got something magnetic for this work. Yep, it's magnetic. There you go. I don't have anything magnetic that I can hang it on. I don't even have a hook that I can hang it on. I could, hang it on. I'll just put it over there by the printer while I'm spitting. That's no good. Right, other stuff. I really have to have a cleaner. I've been starting to, as I would say, rationalize my possessions, which is probably the nice way of getting rid of a lot of crap that I've got, and probably, as is my usual, I'll end up getting rid of stuff and then want it back later on, which is bad when you have access to eBay and you end up buying further inferior versions of the thing you had that was really good when you got rid of it, and then you buy it again. Anyway, but in terms of goals, I'm on school holidays now, so I would like to try and get my Laserdisc player set up, and that involves finishing a TV unit that's out there. I don't even know if maybe I can extend the arm and it can be seen. Possibly. Let's see. I'll sort of. You can see it there. There it is. There, I'll go stand next to it. I'm going to be that side. It has oak trim on it. It's looking nice, but it's going to take a little while to get everything fixed up. And I'll try and pull that. I should finish sentences before I start a new one. Sentences should be like courses of dinner. Always finish your first one before you start another. So I did buy other stuff. The whole idea about me streaming was originally that I was just going to do stuff in the workshop and not really talk to the camera. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but we'll see. So, I'm going to kind of flip between, and maybe what I should be doing is just doing stuff and talking at the same time without doing so much to camera. If you have seen Big Clive, I have finally got around to doing that thing that you're not supposed to do, and I have printed a woofler, but I need to find out what kind of gas you need. And he did say, I asked him in the Patreon stream on Thursday morning, what kind of gas to use, and he just said whatever gas fits that. So I guess I have to take that to where I can buy butane cylinders and just see if it happens to go on. But that's not something that I should be talking about. I did manage to get to Bunnings when we went away. Surprised to say, and I know I say this in all the Measure Twice, Cut Once, that there's no Bunnings here in Bumfudge Nowhere. There's a Mitre 10, there's a Stratco, and the Mitre 10 has just been sold to Bianco Construction, so will have a Bianco 10. It's already on the receipts. So I went to Mitre 10 and I happened to buy some cables. So now I'm you're coming through my cheapest switch on the internet. And then I bought another one because these were only $3. I bought another one so I can plug it into my laptop to go on my laptop stand. The video's out now. Thank you to the handful of people that watched it. And sorry to the handful of people that watched my stream while I was walking around North Adelaide. I honestly thought that was the best thing I could think of to do. And clearly I was wrong. That was a bad decision on my part. I was going to take this with me to actually make the video on the trip, but I was missing a bolt or a nut. So I did go and buy some M4 stainless steel wing nuts. Just fix that. Yeah. This is quality packaging. It's ripping apart before the staples. Oh, it's one of those sealed ones. That's why. That's why Unreasonable Force isn't working. I'm going to cut it with something. Scissors. They're good for cutting things, I've had. What was that? Did that joke of, I want an orchestra, never mind, this will do. Morecambe and Wise. Never seen that set. Morecambe and Wise and Andre Previn. It's probably one of the funnier things that you will ever see. Now, is this the right thread? Yeah, it is. This is the right thread pitch, so I don't know where this one has gone, but I think I remember finding the little knob but no nut in it, so that will do nicely. The plan was originally that I was going to drive around Bumfudge in my little car with the GoPro as a sort of action cam on the windscreen and just sort of show people around. And I might even do it. I might do it with my phone and live stream it. That might be something that I can do. Why not? So there's that. Let's make that light box the rubbish box and put the other 11 M4 wing nuts that I don't need back in the package. Other stuff that arrived, I've already talked about those network cables. They were good. When I was in Adelaide, I did manage to pick up a couple of things, a couple of retro things. One that I'm probably the most excited. Should I start with the most exciting one? Okay, I'll start with the most exciting one. One second. I don't know if you can take in the greatness. So look at this switch. I'm tingling with excitement over this switch. It's a big crimp. It's got dip switches on the back. It's got dip. You can't see them. Maybe if you can. Oh, sorry, that was a bit violent. It's got dip switches here. This main cord I'm slightly worried that it seems that it's got good strain relief, so it should be okay. But this full tower case is going to be for hopefully my retro 286 PC build. I saw this, it got offered to me by a very kind chap on Adelaide Retro Computing, and he actually offered me this and a mini tower case, and I did take both. The size of the power supply in this, it's a great honking thing. I'm hoping that it's okay, but I might just check before I use it that it is actually reading as it should. So that will mean taking a meter and sticking some probes in to make sure it's got monitor pass through. It is a 200 watt switching power supply, which should be ample for a 286. But look at the size of these things. I'm hoping that I can make a sticker for the front. So a sticker to go on here. Now it is unlocked at the moment, which should be fine. And it's got some turbo button and a reset button. It's got a big, nasty beige grill down there, which I'm very excited about. It's not too yellow. It needs a bit of a clean. and the I think this is going to be quite period accurate, especially with the 3 LCD display. The big toggle switch is very IBM PS2 sort of late 80s, early 90s. And my idea about the 286 is that it came about, I think a friend got one in about 1992, which is really at the tail end of their run. I mean, the late 80s 386s were already a thing, in the early 90s 486s were really a thing. I guess Australia, not really. Well, a lot of people in this town didn't really spend a lot of money on computers, especially the people in my circle of friends, until the 90s. And 286 was kind of the entry level back then. So I think our first DOS PC was a 386. And I was really desperate. I really, really wanted a 286. And then I was the ungrateful beep that when I got a 386, I was a bit disappointed because it wasn't the machine that I'd hoped to own. And I remember looking at the Dick Smith catalogue when that was a thing, when it was made of paper, and seeing this. So seeing a big full tower case and a 14-inch color monitor. So that is the hope that I'll cut my head off there. I'll never look better. That's the hope, is to make a 286 out of this. But it did come with some free stuff as well. The chap that organised all this was very kind. So I should show the other wares as well. The other things that came with it, because there is quite a lot. And he solved a very, very big problem that I have. Just put away some rubbish while I'm here. There we go, that's nice. And I will move the camera down again. So I'm sorry, you're only seeing the top of my head yet. I'll sort of... So yeah, the other things that I was looking for at the time, knowing that I'm going to be fixing or trying to fix a motherboard and testing a motherboard, I ordered and received a post analyzer card. Now I haven't got anything to try it in yet. I've got that 486 board that I did buy some capacitors for. That smoky capacitor. I also got a free lecture when I bought the capacitors. I'm guessing this jumper is probably... It's got a PC speaker built in. JP2. I'm not sure what this jumper is for. It could be to actually use this as a power switch, because I think in ATX supplies you've got to have something. You've got to earth 2 pins. So I would say that this goes on here. This sort of sits in there, and then you probably put the other end of the jumper into an earth pin, or a pin and an earth on the power supply, and then use this as your power on. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it's for. So that arrived. I don't know if it's any good. It arrived in an envelope, no packaging at all around it. It did come in an anti-static bag, but nothing else. So I was looking for some controller cards, because one of the goals with this build is to make a working machine. I probably won't be running a mechanical hard drive. I'll probably run a compact flash or an SD to IDE. But I did need a controller card, so this is a UMC chipset controller, which looks okay. Doesn't look like any caps have gone bad on it. So this is a 16-bit ISO. The 486 that I dismantled last week, everything was VLB, which meant that I can't run it in. I don't believe I can run it in 16-bit ISO slots. Some of the ports are looking a little bit rusty and a little bit corroded, but I might not need them. Really, I could probably get away without needing parallel ports, and I might need a serial port for a mouse. But really, I'll probably be able to swap them over. Or, take one out and swap it for another one. I think that's probably why I'll be given this back plate, is that I can swap that one out and use that one instead, which would be fine. So I got 2 controller cards, and I was also looking for a video card. This is a Gold Star. Oh, it's Gold Star chipset. I remember Gold Star. And again, it's only got the one lot of ports on there, but I could swap, and I could easily take this out and swap the back plate and do stuff. So I'm not concerned at all. I think I'd be able to work it out if I needed to. And then a video card. So a guy that I'd done quite a bit of wheeling and dealing with in the past, who was living nearby where I usually stay when I go to Adelaide. And he's a top bloke. But there was some wires crossed that he thought I was going to be in town Monday morning, whereas I was only leaving on Monday, and so he waited around for me. Now, I don't think I ever gave a message to say I am in Adelaide on Monday. I'm pretty sure I said I'm leaving for Adelaide Monday. But anyway, the misunderstanding. He was waiting around, and then none of the other days was he available. But I bought lots of retro parts for him in the past, and if you find him on eBay, I think his name's Ivan. He's a nice guy. And he's in the southern suburbs of Adelaide. So if you're looking for retro PC parts in Adelaide, hit up Ivan. Now this is a Cirrus Logic, very similar to a card that I had a long time ago. So it's kind of exciting for me. Cirrus Logic card. It is, I think it's probably a 1 megabyte card, I would guess. Although it's, I don't know. I'm sure they are memory chips, but can I see? I'd have to Google what they are. It's got 4 RAM chips on it. I would normally say they would be 256K chips. Hey, they could be. They could be 1 megabyte chips. Who knows? Or they could be, 128K. It's probably unlikely that by, what's the date code on this? 1993 Quadtel. I doubt that by 1993 anyone was making under a 1 megabyte card. They could be 512K chips, and it might be a 2 meg card, which would be great. But 1992, 1993 is kind of the era that I'm going for, and it's probably because it's the era that I remember, to be fair. But as I said, Ivan had a video card. It's an Eagle card, and I had bid on it on eBay because I felt really bad that he waited around, and so I thought, well, hey, if I buy it, if this doesn't work, I've got that one. There was another guy named Declan that I was going to catch up with. Unfortunately, he wound up getting COVID, so that meant, well, can't catch up. And that was the other thing. We kind of went and didn't really do a lot, which sounds bad. But we did go and see the Harlem Globetrotters on Thursday night, which my son really enjoyed. He's a big fan of trick shots, so he liked watching that. Didn't get all the jokes, and maybe the noise was a bit much, but it was good to take him there. But because we had the Harlem Globetrotters and we had lots of medical appointments, we really avoided play cafes, shopping centres, fun stuff. And it was pouring rain for a lot of the days there, so just going to parks and stuff wasn't really an option either. So it was a tricky trip. I did get to Bunnings, like I say. I didn't really get to do I didn't really prepare myself for shopping at Bunnings, so kind of left getting stuff for other people, as is normally what happens when you're in the country and you go to the city, that other people ask you, can you go and get me so-and-so? And you go, yeah, sure, that's no problem. But I didn't really buy. I was going to look at routers. I did look at what I could find, and thank you to everyone that recommended going to Carbatech. I tried to go to Carbatech, but when the 7-year-old doesn't want to go to Carbatech, you don't go to Carbatech. And he wanted to go elsewhere. So I did look at Bunnings. I do like the Makita routers, but I do have a bit of a problem with them. And the problem is that the only one that you can adjust the height of by turning a knob is $600. Why? I don't know. But that's the same as Triton. It's the same as Bosch. It's the only time you can get one that you can adjust a knob for a big router, not a palm router, it's $600. The $200 Makita one was okay. Like, you could adjust the height one-handed. You can sort of flick the thing and push, and it was quite easy to adjust that way. So it might be the route that I go down, the route that I go down. But I don't know. It's difficult to kind of make those decisions. But I did buy stuff. I bought stuff for other people, which I'm happy about, because it's always good to try and help people out, and I like being able to do that. Oh, that was the other thing I meant to say. I was looking for, I'd spent so much time Googling where to get standoffs and screws and things for putting computers together. The guy not only sold me 2 cases, all those cards, gave me them as well. And the price for the 2 cases and all the cards was the price that he told me 1 case was. And then he said, oh, well, look, take 2 cases and here's 2 controller cards. And, oh, have you got any screws to put it together? And I said, no, I actually don't know where to buy them. And he went, yeah, have that. So that was really cool. That was probably, for me, the highlight of my retail experience on the trip. I do love a bit of shopping. Right? Some people drink and smoke, and some people like, doing product research. So it was good to be able to do that. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting into that when the board arrives. Lord knows when that'll be. The board is apparently flapping its wings from the States now. I've got some big anti-static bags. I'm just putting stuff in. Hopefully it will be here before too long in the distant future. In the not so distant future, perhaps. So that's the plan. There is more. Don't worry, there's more stuff. What did I put up there? Oh, the motherboard. The 486 board's up there. So I tried to get some caps for this 486 board. I'll try and zoom down with the camera because I can see that it's just my neck talking right now. I'll flip the camera down. And so there we go. I like these grid notebooks, by the way. So this capacitor is the one that I got off the board, and it was next to the one that had gone poopy in trouser. And it says on it, something I can hardly read because I think it says 103. And these are 103. Looking through, it looks like these are monolithic capacitors. So I bought some of these. And a really strange experience in the shop that I went in to get these. I know people would think that I just go out looking for trouble. I don't. It just finds me. It seems to know where I like to shop. But I went out to get these caps. So I went into a local chain. Well, not local. I went into a chain electronics components store that is well known within Australia. Probably the most well known. Now that Dick Smith's is gone, and said I need to get some 10 nanofarad capacitors. I'm not quite sure what they are. I don't think they're now this is a case of Americanism here. I've been watching lots of videos of people fixing motherboards to try and sort of see what goes wrong, and they say tantalum. And then my dad, who's technically minded and uses, had a career doing this stuff, says tantalum. So I feel like a dyke head. But I went and said, look, I need some capacity. Well, I went in and, said hello in a friendly way at 8:30 in the morning on the day we were leaving, and immediately had a person following me very uncomfortably close behind. And I thought, gee, I know I look a bit dodgy. I look a little bit dodgy, but I'm not that dodgy, surely. I didn't even have a beanie on. It was just, although I wasn't clean shaven because I've been hacking myself to death with a razor for the last few months, so I let it go while I was away. Anyway, is that? No, that's worse. I'll do that. So I went in and said, I'd like some I just went looking for them because I bought capacitors there before, so I kind of knew where they were. I headed over there because I like looking through stuff to try and find what I want. And then when I can't find what I want, I usually ask for help. So I went in and said, hello, good morning, head straight for the caps. And I'm looking down the line, down the aisles where the little small components are. This person following very close behind me. And I started squatting down to look. Oh, that's what you do. And immediately got what do you want? And I said, well, sorry, I'm looking for some capacitors, 10 nanofarad. And so, well, you won't find them there. And I thought, well, I know. These are these are voltage regulators. I know that. So I was one aisle off. So the next aisle, which I was working my way down the aisle, I would have found it eventually, I'd have thought. I'm just going to stop for a second because it's going to... Get off there. Get off. Get off. Oh, get. I think that's on the thing. Sorry. I was going to get there, whether I liked it or not. So the person, I'm saying the person because I would probably confuse the person's gender. I'll just say that. So the person led me to, and it's not important. It's not important, but out of respect for them, I don't want to say the wrong thing. So I'll leave them, right? So they led me down to where they were and, gave me these. I said 10 nanofarad. I said, I think they're probably monolithic. They might be poly. I don't know. I'm not sure what materials they are. They're probably not going to be close. I had a photo of that one. What voltage? And I said, I don't know what voltage. Because it doesn't really say a voltage on them. And I can't check it to know what voltage it is. In fact, I had to desolder that so I could work out what kind of cap it is with my capacitance meter. And this doesn't measure them in circuit. So I don't have an ESR. And even then, if you've got an ESR, it doesn't necessarily tell you what kind of capacitor it is. It just sort of gives you a resistance reading that will let you know whether it's any good or not. So 10 nanofarad, sorry, rambling. And they gave me these things and said, what voltage? I said, I don't know. It's probably, I don't think it's mains voltage. It'll probably be on the 12 volt side. So 25 or 50 volts would be fine. And I know that with capacitors, you can always go above the voltage, and you'll be fine. So provided the 10 nanofarad's right, it doesn't matter if they're 50 volt or 250 volt, it should be okay. I think. And then the person said to me, well, if you don't know what voltage they are, you shouldn't be messing around with things you don't know. And I thought, well, I encourage people to mess around with things because that's how you learn, And then they said, well, what's it for? And I said, well, it's for a computer motherboard. Well, why don't you just buy a new motherboard? And because I don't have a time machine to go and do that. And I don't want to mortgage my house to buy a 1994 motherboard. They couldn't understand why I wanted to fix things. They worked in a shop that sold electronic components for fixing things. Surely they mustn't think that every component they sell is for a little hobby kit, do they? No. Anyway, so I got them a whole $1.75 for them. And I will attempt to solder them onto the board. Is that it from the trip? I think that's all from the trip. So I'm really now just looking for that's the sound card. What things do I need to still get? I'd like to get a Gotek floppy emulator for the build. I'm going to go out there afterwards and smack on some more filler. That's the rescued... saying too much, I'm sorry. That's the rescued TV stand from the skip at work. Basically, a student had started it, never finished it, and it was about to go in the bin. And I went, I'll have that because I've got a CRT TV to go on it, and a laser disc player, and an old stereo. I actually bought a retro stereo with a record player, and I think it's a single disc CD player because I'm. Is that what happens when you turn 40? You start missing the things that you did and had when you were young. I don't know. maybe. And it's Philips, so I like that. Yeah. And I know that people thought Philips was absolute crap at the time, and hey, you likes what you likes. So I need to get a CD-ROM drive, which I don't know. I'm sure that 286 computers were able to run a CD-ROM, but I never saw one. I think by the time my friend had upgraded and got a CD-ROM, and I was always trying to keep up with him, I think by the time he'd done that, he already had a 486. But it looks like a CD-ROM should work in a 286, with some goals of playing some retro games. Some games like, well, Leisure Suit Larry, definitely. The Sierra adventure games were awesome. I love them. So I'd really like to play them. Sam and Max Hit the Road is another good one. Monkey Island, Willy Beamish. If it runs, I would love to do Day of the Tentacle, and I'd love to also try Star Wars Rebel Assault. I think that would be really good. But that's kind of the status of that at the moment. I might have I? No, I haven't unplugged it. I might warm up the soldering iron and see if I can solder on these caps. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So one moment while I move things, and I'm going to reposition the camera. I've got a nameplate for the door printing on that printer, and I have a sign for the toilet printing on the other one. Just because I can. As far as upgrades or work goes for the actual workshop, I have got a plan to line the last wall of the shed, and I would actually like to build a stud wall. Let's see if that happens. What was I getting? I'll tell you what, I nearly bought a lawnmower. I nearly bought another battery mower, because when I moved into this house, there was very little grass. There was like really minimal grass, and we've been able to propagate the lawn quite nicely for a few years now, and it's really starting to take off. And what I would really love to be able to do is plant another, or not plant, get another. I've been using an 18-volt battery mower, and it's fine, but it doesn't really. The charge isn't what it used to be. Well, it's not the charge. There's a lot more grass. So it used to be a sort of 3/4 of a battery lawn, and it's now turned into, and I don't think it's through the battery dying, it's now turned into a sort of 2 battery lawn. And there are times, I mean, I try and stay on it pretty regularly. There are times when the mower does struggle to get through what's there. Not too often, though. Now I'm going to have to try and I don't know what would be best to do. I've got a hole to unplug. That's going to be fun. Let's see. Let's get the old board holder now. And I'll try and plug in. Feel free to tune out if you are no longer interested. No one is. Please don't feel like you're being forced to stay. Try and do that. The trouble I have with doing this is I often worry that I'll just wind up with my head in the shot. So that would be bad. Now what I'm looking at, the sections I'm looking at, this hole here is just ever so slightly bridged. So I need to try. I probably should have put a different tip on this iron. That would have been good. But I didn't, because I'm a fool to myself. That's alright. We will see what happens, hey? Where's the end of this solder? But the thing is, you tinker with things and you get better, don't you? But I wasn't really motivated to. had a bit of a downer today, so I really wasn't that motivated to do a stream tonight. That and the numbers for last week's stream were really low, which was a shame because it had been building, and it's I'm sure everyone gets that. When the numbers are low, I think when they're low anyway, that I started to question is this even worth doing? But I'm interested in it, so that was the whole point, is that I do it because I'm interested. Slowly getting there. Come on. There we go. Got it. So I'm interested in this and how far it'll go. So I've kept going, but whether or not it's something that will stand the test of time, who knows? I'm going to put 2 new ones in, and these do not have a polarity, I am led to believe, but gee, it's going to be really hard to thread them through. But fortunately, I have in my case, I didn't even know I had it. When I flip this over, I've got some little ceramic tweezers that will hopefully allow me to post these through the holes. One. I would love to have found a circuit diagram for this board, but alas, there is none. Okay. But at least what I should be able to do once these are in is I'm going to need 2. I'm going to need 3 hands for this, which is a bit tricky. So I'm sorry if the camera angle is a bit rubbish. Stay there, you. There we go. Yeah, I'd really kind of lost motivation. I've been in a grumpy mood all day. Trying to get things done around the house, which were just not happening at all by any stretch. Like, there was just every time I tried to get something done, it was not going to happen. I'm going to try to not get my head in there in the photo or in the frame. So I was really didn't know what I should do about tonight. So thank you to everyone in the Measure Twice, Cut Once community chat who actually encouraged me to give it a go. Also thank you to everyone that said no, you should have a rest. I guess if I'm doing this is the 5th live stream now, so I've hoped that I'm building an audience. And what had happened is my first live stream had about 10 views, the second one had 20, the third one had 30, and then the fourth one, I was hoping for 40 views, and it's really only had about 11 views, so it really dipped down. Not that, it's not about wanting people to, quick, you've got to go back and watch it to make me feel better, but I'm trying to build an audience. And you don't build an audience without people watching, And actually, last week's live stream with the mower speed control, I thought was mildly amusing. I was a bit surprised that no one, or that relatively few people watched, I should say. Sorry, I got my head in the view here. a big honking nose in the way. I just want to double check that they look okay. So this had some pretty nasty battery damage, and I've given it a bit of a clean, but I would like to get some I'd like to actually bathe this in some alcohol. But I need a tub. I need a tub big enough to do it, because you want a tub that's quite close to the size of the board, otherwise you're wasting a lot of alcohol, aren't you? So I might have to go to Cheapest Chips or the Reject Shop or something tomorrow. And now the other thing is that it's kind of hard to show. Hold on. What if I bring the camera down? Oh, sorry. Hold on. What if I like? Oh gosh, it's in frame until I let go. The spacing on this capacitor, these two, this is a sort of normal spacing, and then this is quite wide. Now I've got no idea whether this is actually meant to be a completely different component. I mean, maybe it's meant to be a diode or something. I don't know. But by looking at the board down here in the row here, so this is the new one that went pop, we think. So there's 1, 2, and that was the one that I showed as the example, and I've just put the new one in. But it says C16, C15, C14, C13. So they're obviously meant to be capacitors, but who knows? Maybe they're not. But it'll be interesting now to check some. I'd love to have a pinout available so I can check it. But what I can at least do is I can check. I know these. Go back. Oh, hello. No, it's not. I've done too much jiggling. Going down. It's hard to tell which arm I'm annoying. Sorry. But I should be able to tell with these pins and a continuity check whether I'm at least in the ballpark. And if suddenly everything is coming off as being shorted to ground, then I will know. But let's find out. What if I can I move this over enough that this can be in the frame? Maybe. So I want. Right, so if I put this through a grounding plane, here we go. Nothing. Oh, if I check this one. Yep, that's definitely grounded, right? So yeah, nothing, nothing, nothing. 1. Nothing, 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 nothing. Now, if I go and have a look at that power supply, if I flick up the camera, I'll sort of try and point it over there. I go get that power supply back. So there were 4 beeps for ground. And flip it around. Flip it over this way. This has actually got feet underneath. It's got little like outrigger feet because it's so big. It's just great. It's so overkill. I love it. Now it had 4 ground, and if you have a look on those plugs, how many black wires? 4 black wires. So when I first did these tests on that board, I was getting 5 shorts to ground. So I'm guessing that cap has at least repaired that part. And at least those pins, it looks like there's no shorts anywhere else. So I'm hoping that that motherboard is going to be okay now, that it's not smelling burnt from that capacitor. And I mean, there might be others that go. That's the thing. You can sometimes fix something and then the next weakest link just goes in the meantime. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping this will pan out really well, but we will see. There might be, I'm sure there will be other problems. I'd be foolish to think that this will all just work perfectly first time. Oh, and so that was the other thing that happened today as another downer. I went to wash the car and my foam cannon has been stolen. So it was a bucket wash today that happened with the car. So let me just double check one more time because I want to be thorough. Let's face it, the audience wants me to be thorough as well. So here is ground. Here we go. Nothing. We should have 4 beeps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that's a positive sign. I've got to be happy with that. All right. That worked out well. And finally, I got to use some of the tools that I've, been spending lots of money on for all these years. They're finally getting some use. I'm sure everyone that's bought me tools will be grateful for that. Up we go. So that's probably, I'm hoping that'll be good. It certainly doesn't look like there's any more damage on it. I'm still going to give it a clean. I'm still going to bathe it in some, I probably won't use isopropyl because it's so damn expensive. I'll probably just use meths. And if you're from the USA, I think methylated spirit is that denatured alcohol? I know IPA, everyone in the States generally calls IPA. I think methylated spirit is denatured alcohol. And mineral spirits is mineral spirits turpentine or white spirits? I can never, I've Googled this lots of times. In fact, every time I have to try and figure it out, I have to Google it. Steve Ramsey talks about mineral spirits. And then the 8-bit guy talks about denatured alcohol. And, is methylated spirits mineral spirits, or is white spirits mineral spirits, or is denatured alcohol methylated spirits, or is that isopropyl alcohol? I do have some isopropyl, but the only stuff I've got here at the moment is this junk that we buy at the local chemist, and this is like $10 or $11 a bottle, so it's horribly expensive. I've used it on a cotton bud to clean up around there, but maybe a little bit of that in a jar or something in a toothbrush to scrub it. But I'm optimistic because we had 5 grounds and now we've only got 4, and that's how many there are on the power supply. So I guess the next thing will be to check the power supply and see what goes on there. That's what I haven't done. I haven't had the distraction machine going tonight. I need to find more places to put these things. Oh, I know what I could do. Look, yeah, that's an idea. The distraction machine, I could run the distraction machine off this USB. Ready? The supercomputer. The mini supercomputer. There you go. So I wonder how long this would charge it for, or this would power it for. Who knows? I'd like to have this maybe mounted on the wall somewhere. There you go. It works. Will it work? Will it power the big one? I don't even see where the cord is for the big one now. It's hiding somewhere over here. Will it power the Jesse Jatron? Let's see. Hang on. You can't even see the Jesse Jatron. There she is. There she is. Ready? Will the Jesse Jatron power up? Yay! She's powered up. Or just mining Bitcoin, minding our own business. The Bitcoinatron. What else came? What was this? Can't remember what this was. Oh, the multimeter. Yeah, that worked. I should have brought that one. Where's my little... Does anyone else lose the little... Oh, I found it. Does anyone else start sentences and then stop them halfway through to start a new sentence, or is that just me? So, this has not been a lot of conversing in the chat. I think the stream will end shortly, in approximately 3 minutes. I think I've been having layer shift issues with the Ender, but that's okay because I'm going to paint the sign anyway that I'm printing with it. Right, put my flux away. No flux given. But that might be an idea. I might take that suction cup holder now and take the phone on a drive around town, because I think I don't know, it's going to be a pretty big contraption doing this, but it's a pretty big contraption, but it's quite gargantuan, isn't it? But this one you can spin around, that's the thing. You can spin it so your phone's in landscape mode. Although I'm sure it would probably just look like somebody who's getting GPS directions if you had it like that. But that'll work. We'll take it around and see what downtown Bumfudge has to offer at some point, and that'll make a nice little video. Hopefully the other video will be out. I don't know whether I've got the motivation to edit it together tonight. Maybe I will. I've been sleeping, so maybe that'll be something to do while not sleeping. Now let me double check. See the I had a page for this stuff. I don't quite remember where I've put everything, but dear James, don't grab the soldering iron. It's hot. Who wants to know how I know that? That would be because I have just grabbed the soldering iron. So, yeah. Amuse yourself for a moment. All two viewers, who I suspect I'm probably related to, but that's okay. It's meant to be workshop noise in the background. I might be a cure for insomnia. Definitely. All right. Well, with not long to go, just oh no! Oh, it's all gone. That's the trouble with this camera arm. It goes quite wobbly. It's oh Jesus, that's hot again. Yeah, this is. But I mean, it's meant to be in one spot, isn't it? And that's all there is to it. It's meant to be doing that. Yeah. So in the final score, with the stream ending, I can tell you that tonight Christina has won and defeated Brittany by the score of 21-14. So well done to you, Christina. And thank you everyone for watching, whether you're watching now or whether you're watching sometime in the future. I hope you have a nice week, and I hope to see you. Well, I hope to be here again next Saturday. So I haven't found a good ending for the stream, so I'm just going to fumble and bumble until I disappear. Happy fumbling and bumbling.